The biotech industry is focused on the development and production of biological products, such as proteins and genetic materials, for use in medicine and agriculture. This includes areas such as genetic engineering, biomanufacturing, and biosimilars. In contrast, the traditional pharmaceutical industry primarily develops and produces small molecule drugs, which are chemically synthesized. Biotech companies often rely on cutting-edge technologies like CRISPR and stem cells, while traditional pharmaceutical companies may rely on more established techniques such as synthetic chemistry. Biotech products tend to be more complex and more expensive to develop and produce than traditional pharmaceuticals, but they can also offer more targeted and effective treatments for certain diseases. The global biotech industry generates revenue in the hundreds of billions of dollars per year. However, the exact figure can vary depending on the source and definition of biotech industry. According to a report by Grand View Research, the global biotech market was valued at $1.3 trillion in 2022 and is expected to reach $3.8 trillion by 2030. Once a biotech company reaches a certain size, it is often acquired by Big Pharma. Of the top 10 largest pharma, biotech companies by revenue, Amgen is the only one that started off as a biotech company. The rest have added biotech business units through acquisitions. The biotech industry sells a wide variety of drug treatments, which can be broadly categorized into the following. Biologics, these are drugs made from living organisms or their derivatives. Examples include monoclonal antibodies, recombinant proteins, and gene therapies. Biologics are used to treat a wide range of diseases, including cancer, autoimmune disorders, and genetic disorders. Vaccines, biotech companies also develop and manufacture vaccines, which are used to prevent infectious diseases. Biosimilars, these are drugs that are similar to biologics that have already been approved by regulatory agencies. Biosimilars are cheaper alternatives to the original biologics. Plant-based drugs, biotechnology companies also develop drugs derived from plants and their extracts. Overall, biotech companies tend to focus on developing therapies for complex, chronic diseases, such as cancer and autoimmune disorders, which are not as well served by traditional small molecule drugs. Biotech drugs tend to be more expensive than traditional pharmaceutical drugs. The cost of developing and producing biotech drugs is typically higher than that of small molecule drugs, and this cost is often passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices. For example, the average annual cost of a biotech drug is around $50,000 to $150,000. Some biotech drugs, such as those used to treat rare or orphan diseases, can cost even more. The high cost of biotech drugs can be attributed to several factors, such as the complexity and expense of the research and development process, the high costs associated with clinical trials, and the need for specialized manufacturing facilities. A rare disease, also known as an orphan disease, is a condition that affects a small number of people compared to more common diseases. The definition of a rare disease can vary depending on the country or organization, but in the United States, a rare disease is defined as one that affects fewer than 200,000 people in the country. In Europe, the definition of a rare disease is a condition that affects not more than 5 in 10,000 people. In general, rare diseases are often chronic, debilitating, and life-threatening conditions, and they can be caused by a wide range of genetic, environmental, or acquired factors. Many rare diseases are caused by genetic mutations, and they can be inherited or acquired during a person's lifetime. There are around 7,000 rare diseases known, and most of them are genetic. An ultra-rare disease, also known as a very rare disease, is a condition that affects an even smaller number of people than a rare disease. The definition of an ultra-rare disease can vary depending on the country or organization, but in general, it is considered to be a disease that affects fewer than 50,000 people worldwide or fewer than 1 in 50,000 people. Specialty drugs are typically high-cost, complex medications that are used to treat chronic and rare conditions, such as cancer and autoimmune disorders. Specialty care sales reps typically have a scientific or medical background, and they must have a deep understanding of the drugs they are selling and the conditions they are used to treat.